So where we are today, we've moved along the marketing journey from mass market messaging. Then we went to marketing segmentation. And now at this point, we're at the point where, our guests are expecting that we're going to speak to them and market to them specifically to them as a person. And that, is across all elements of what we do in hotels, not just marketing, but in the service that we provide and all the communications from the text messages to, when they arrive on site to when they're dealing with staff across their journey. And, the technology is here to do that, but it's really up to us as hoteliers and technologists to really bridge that gap between what is theory and what's put into practice, right? It's a little bit like the Three Bears story from when you were little, except on steroids. We all want our porridge the way that we like it, with the sriracha on top or not. But as marketers, we know the details matter. So what we're going to do today is we're going to go about showing you the journey of a Guestprint in motion and how we as marketers can really process and absorb all those data crumbs that guests leave along the way, and how we can distill that into actionable programs across the guest travel journey. So what is a Guestprint? So that's a term that we at Cendyn have come up with this year, and it's really about taking all those pieces that we as travelers and guests leave along the journey. So, each guest profile is really like a fingerprint. If you think about, each time that you like something, each time that you open an email, each time that you dislike something, every time that you swipe away an offer as a traveler, you're letting, hotels know who you are, what you like, what you dislike. And it's really, as technologists and as hoteliers, we're collecting that data, but are we listening to it, right? So the guest has the expectation that we are and that we're adapting to what they're sharing. But, we really need to see if we're taking that data and moving it into action. So now that we kind of have the picture of what a Guestprint is, how are we going to take that and decode it, right? So guests are expecting, with all that information, that we as hoteliers are going to be processing that and activating it in how we interact with them. So throughout the journey, whether that's, before this day, during, or post, we have the opportunity to model how we interact with guests to match perfectly with their Guestprint. So, the travel journey has, as I said before, it's evolved from, those three core pillars that we've looked at for many years as marketers, the pre, post, and stay, to a much wider journey. So you can see here on the screen here, we've expanded that journey into the search and discovery phase, booking, pre-stay, arrival, the point to re-engage, nurture, post-stay, and then after they're actually at the property. So, with all these different touch points, it's really your opportunity as a hotelier to engage with that guest in the right way, in a way that's meaningful to them. But with antiquated and disparate systems, how can we as hoteliers align with this shift to drive success? So next, we have an example of personalization gone wrong. Centralizing all that guest data that we're talking about with the Guestprint is a problem. In many of the hotels today, we have quite a bit of data silos happening. We have, information in the PMS, in the CRS, in the CRM, but they're not connected, right? So if you can move through the slide here, you can see with those disparate systems, the kind of errors that can happen when hoteliers who have really great intentions of wanting to deliver personalization, where we can go wrong here. So the first example, you've got, a mishmash of titles gone wrong. The second one, dear value guest. I definitely wouldn't feel known if I saw that. The next, we've got some personalization string errors happening. And the last, a bit of an existential dear, who knows. But what we really want to see is just, hello, Michael, hello, Casey. And, a lot of the problem really comes into play when marketers don't feel like they have the tools or the processes in place to deploy personalization at scale. It's not that they don't believe in it, but with so much data and so many different systems going on, they just kind of feel like their hands are tied to actually deploy this personalization in the real world. So, you know, what is the solution here? We've identified the problems that can come into play as you try to personalize to the Guestprint, but here at Cendyn, we believe the answer lies in CRM. With a system like CRM, you're able to consolidate all those different touch points that we're talking about in the travel journey and tying in all the information that comes in from the various systems that we have, right? You can see here the travel journey and all those systems that are mentioned. But with CRM, you're able to actually aggregate all those different touch points and all the systems into one place and access it for marketing, service, what have you, with what we call a global profile or a single version of truth. And that's really where you're going to be able to collect all that data and use machine learning to create those meaningful and relevant marketing moments that drive revenue. You're also able to focus your marketing activities on segments with the highest affinity to win and start to analyze those booking patterns, purchasing history, and sentiment to advance your targeting and your guest satisfaction. Next slide. What we've identified here are just some personalization tracks, right? So trying to take that theory of the Guestprint and personalization and showing where you can create these personalization tracks that speak to what that guest is all about, right? So they might be into golf, they might be into the spa, they might be one of your VIP guests, and each one of your guests, they deserve, you know, communications that speak to those segments that they have self-identified, right? So if you have, you know, a loyal guest who's been coming to your hotel for 30 times in a year, they deserve to get an offer that shows that you as the hotel know that about them and that you're offering perks and email offers that take that into consideration. Rose, I think we're turning it over to you now.
Thank you very much. In a hotel's marketing effort, I think one of the biggest questions that I get asked is how can I, as a hotel, set myself apart from the competition? You know, my personal motto is, and as well as it should be, you have to dare to be different and create that personal touch. I think most brands today have become homogenized, and travelers are really looking for that unique experience, and that's really going to start with you. I'm going to give you an example. I was going into Montana, a couple months ago, and I started looking at hotels, and I came across a couple websites, and when I came across this website, and I'm going to call the Hotel Montana, I got on there, and you actually created your own Montana experience and downloaded a travel planner. How cool and creative was that? So I'm going to put my name and address in, and they asked me one specific question. In order to fill out the form and you checked your boxes, they wanted to know my reason for coming to Montana. So a drop-down box starts, and I can select a family vacation, I'm a local, adult getaway, business trip, Yellowstone, friends and family. You know, you have to give people a reason to sign up for your email marketing, and especially those offers. And also create promotions. In my search on hotel websites is, again, you can make it uniquely different, is don't forget packages. I was looking at some packages, and I came across a website on a Hawaiian hotel, and it said, make your vacation a picture-perfect trip. Okay, spend time with a local photographer and go around the island learning how to capture breathtaking photos from a pro. And I thought these ideas were so creative, and they involve the local community as well. And the other thing that you want to do is you want to add rewards and all types of things to reward your guests to come back with those rewards and reviews. And don't forget to invest in retargeting. In my initial search for hotels, I probably looked at 4 or 5 hotels before selecting a Montana hotel, and that retargeting, once I looked at it, I went on to look at others. That retargeting can bring you back to the website. The other thing you want to make sure is you've got a things to do guide, and you can certainly partner with your local community on that, or go to your own Convention and Visitors Bureau and see if you can't work together on that. Let's talk a little bit about social media. I think the event of social media, it's really changed how people share not only what's going on in their lives, but the travel brag has crept into the digital ecosphere. It's going to be essential to the travel experience. They want bragging rights, so all of their friends and family see that. And I think one of the other very important things is you've got to grow bookings word of mouth. And I'm going to give you some statistics. According to surveys, word of mouth marketing impressions result in 5 times more sales than a paid impression, and people are 90% more likely to trust that brand or hotel that's endorsed by a friend. And on the tails of that, I would create a referral family and friends program by sending targeted campaigns and the right message, so they're going to come back to the hotel. And again, hopefully you're going to get those referrals and reviews. The other interesting tidbit on social media, only 48% of the travelers stuck with their original plan after researching on social media. This is why reviews based off guest experience can be so impactful. With targeting marketing campaigns, that guest is going to be given that special treatment before, during, and after their stay, and hopefully leading them to those great reviews and referring their family and friends to your property. Let's talk a little bit about interactive technology, what's going on in hotels today. I think that this is improving the online and offline experience on staying at that particular property. And they're doing that through your website, collecting the first data, whether you're doing email marketing or any type of customization there, property management systems, guest text messaging programs, in-room tablets, and of course your CRM. That data is fed through the hotel system, and that's going to allow you to learn about each and every guest that's going to be coming to your property. I think that today's guests, they can modernize their guest experience through that technology, and they can engage with those messages, promotions. They can place in-room dining orders, any type of service requests. You can even control lighting now on your thermostat. And also, of course, they engage in entertainment. But don't forget, if you've got a property with special tours or anything like that, if you're on a lake, you've got skiing, you can also make reservations and booking for any type of extended travel trips as well. And I think finally is delivering the right message to drive that conversion. With the artificial intelligence today, hotels can track the data from each guest that's booked a stay and use all of that interactive technology and add that to the guest profile. You can also use that data to send appropriate tailored messaging, the right message to increase conversions and upsells. Let me give you an example. Let's say that you've got an app in a tablet in your hotel, and let's say that guest has a history of always dining in your hotel restaurant, or they're still looking at that menu. You can send them a tailored message and ask them if they want to book the restaurant during their stay, or why not even offer them a free appetizer and give them a reason to book. And again, that type of messaging is going to likely drive that conversion. And you already know that the person is interested in, obviously, the restaurant, and it shows an extra level of customer service, allowing that guest to confirm the reservation with the click of a button rather than trying to rush around while they're on vacation and make the reservation there.
Great. Thanks, Rose. So, how do we take all this great information that we have about the guest and put it into actual motion for the personalization, right? So if you're looking at the screen here, you can see the guest is telling us themselves, what they like, what they don't like with their behaviors. We have all the great information from the various systems, the CRS, the PMS, your call center. They're telling us that information. And then we have third-party data, right, that a lot of marketers use that give us demographic information. So what the CRM does to help you personalize the experience is it takes all that information on the left, it analyzes it, processes it, and distills it, and lets you push out offers that take all that information into consideration, right? So that way when your guest gets promos or offers, they're going to be tailored, taking into all that into consideration. It lets your staff, personalize the experience that they have with them on property and in the messages that we send out to them. And the CRM, after distilling all that information, it helps you push out recommendations for things that they may like. Or, you don't want to send out a recommendation for, a family trip to Orlando for someone that's looking for a girlfriend's getaway to Austin, right? And it also lets you take all that information and distill it into analytics to see who from your guests are your most valuable, what their patterns are, and really processing that into a way that you can look at it systematically. So how do you take that and drive it into scale, right? So it's really easy to think about that on a one-to-one basis, but how do we as hoteliers take the personalization model and ensure that it happens across every interaction that all of our guests have across our properties? Well, we believe that the answer lies in CRM that integrates with great partners like SkyTouch, and we see it as having three core pillars, which is data. It's reliant on that centralized global profile that we were looking at. Action, being able to take that information on the guest profile and push out automated, personalized communications. And then lastly, impact, being able to look at that data and make business decisions based on it. And by doing that, we've seen a great amount of success with the hoteliers that we work with. Here's an example of how you can actually take the Guestprint model and put it into play with some of the tools that you have. This is one of the clients that we at Cendyn are really honored to work with, called Mirrorball. And you can see here, after distilling all that information, the guest is going to be getting, transactional emails that are personalized to what that guest has told us that she's looking for. You can see we're pushing out relevant ads that, maybe she's looking for a trip to Austin with a spa retreat. So we're going to be serving her ads based on that information and not, say, a property in the Berkshires that has nothing to do with where she's looking to go. And you can see here, after centralizing all that data, we can push out relevant text messages that, maybe the guest has booked, a table of 10 at the restaurant, at the hotel 3 times in a row. So let's offer to send another reservation her way when she has an upcoming stay. Next, this is a slide that really lets you see all the different characteristics of what the Guestprint might include. Here is somebody that we're calling Libby the Traveler, and here are all the things that define her, as a person and a guest. You can see she loves spa trips, she loves girlfriend getaways, she lives in San Francisco. Libby has a daughter. She's 4 years old, and she likes holistic treatments, and she's looking to relax and get away. Next, you can see just some more examples of where we can apply those personalization tracks of everything that Libby has told us that she's all about and how we're interacting with her. So after, centralizing all that data, you can ensure that your display campaigns, when you're retargeting Libby, that you're serving her ads that advertise the specific property and the types of things within that property that she's been searching for and she's been interested in. So here you can see we're targeting her with those personalized ads on Instagram. We know that Libby lives in San Francisco, so she's probably going to be consuming media like the San Francisco Chronicle here, so we're serving her ads in those spots. Wired, we know that Libby is a creative director and that she's likely going to be reading publications related to that job. So let's make sure that we're advertising here versus Fox News, for example. So, if you do centralize all your data into that global profile, you can ensure that every time that Libby is out there looking for information about her stay, that she's getting those targeted offers. And here's an example of during the stay how you might be able to personalize Libby's experience. So during the stay here, we know that Libby has been searching for a girlfriend getaway to Austin. We know that she likes live music. So as a hotel, let's send her Austin's top live music venues versus amusement parks if she hasn't expressed that as something that she's interested in. You can see here with that global profile, you can, send in-room gifts that are specific to what Libby has booked in the past, things that she enjoys, things that we know that she likes. And if she's booked at the spa, in the past, let's send her a specific offer for a treatment that we know she's booked in the past. And lastly, after the stay, right? So guests, they expect that their past stays and purchases are going to affect how we court them as hotels to stay again. So that includes, our paid search results, our email communications, our website offers. For Libby the Traveler example that we gave you, in this case, she started to research her next vacation. She wants to get away with her girlfriends again. She's starting to look on the plane ride home. And this time, she wants to go to the Berkshires. And because Miraval has that centralized guest profile, we can ensure that as she's starting to search for that trip, our ad is at the top of the list for a property that we have opening with a special discount, which lets Libby know she's seen, she's known, and that her loyalty to the brand is being taken into consideration.
Okay, great. So in the past half hour, we have learned that to activate your data, you have to centralize it. Select a CRM with the right scale, connectivity, and feature set, and then leverage that data to drive new and repeat business, all while providing a more personalized experience. Personalization adds an extra level of service to your property, increasing popularity for new and repeat bookings. And by utilizing AI, you can collect data and deliver automated messages that is tailored towards each individual. So how is your hotel going to differentiate itself from the competition? And do you have integrated technology to collect data and learn about your guests? Properties can utilize the SkyTouch platform plus the Guestfolio CRM or the eInsight CRM collectively to further personalize the guest experience. By sharing data insights, the platform helps drive additional revenue, grow TripAdvisor review volume, capture more robust guest preferences, and automate more personalized communications. So we do have some extra time to get through a few questions. First one that came in, how do hoteliers tackle multiple profile duplication, which is the basis of any profile tracking data points? So if Rose or Casey have any insight into that?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question one more time, and I'll try it. I'm winging it here, taking Michael's thing, but I'll give it a go.
So the question was, how do hoteliers tackle multiple profile duplication?
Yeah, I think with systems like ours, for example, we do have robust deduplication engines that power it. So it's really about ensuring that whatever systems that you have an automated deduplication system in place that, not necessarily removes the dupes, but more consolidates them together. So with our CRM platform, for example, if you do have a profile on the PMS system versus the CRS and what have you, it takes all that information and consolidates it into one. So I would say your best bet is looking for technology that has deduplication built into the system and ensuring that as it dedupes, it's not stripping away those other profiles, but more consolidating them so you have an even richer guest profile.
Okay, thanks, Casey. So another question came in, how can I create a hotel rewards program?
I'll take that one. One of the things that I hear from independent hotels is how can I create that? Well, SkyTouch has a built-in rewards program, and you create what you want to give the guests based on the number of stays. And, one of the more creative things I've seen is to partner with your local restaurants or breweries or shopping or spas, and maybe create a gift bag. I went to a hotel one time where they could bring their dogs, and they were actually giving little pet treat bags in the room. I mean, you're only going to limit it to your imagination. If you're near a winery, why not a bottle of wine and a tour partnering with, obviously, wineries or any type of events to make that special experience so the guest is going to want to come back for more.
Thanks, Rose. The next question that we have, given the amount of data that can be collected, what advice would you give to hotels in managing it for effective personalization use in CRM? Casey, do you want to take that one?
Sure. Yeah, so I would say, look for a CRM partner that knows how to connect and standardize data across systems. So, look for someone that has open APIs. Look for what systems that they integrate. Look for, your specific platform. So most of the CRMs that are out there are going to offer customization to be able to take in, any integration that's out there. But I would say look for partners that can give you a list of every system that they integrate with and ask if it's a two-way connection, because that's really what it's, how you get the personalization at that higher level is when the systems are going to speak to each other. So say if the CRM is collecting information, you want that to be pushed out to the PMS. And vice versa, so the systems are talking to each other.
Okay, perfect. And it looks like we're just about out of time for today's webinar. I'd like to thank our speakers, Rose and Casey. If we didn't get to your questions or you want further information, please feel free to reach out, email Rose Serrato at SkyTouch Technology. Michael Bennett, who couldn't be here, but he's very well versed in this topic. Please reach out to him as well. Or also our lovely speaker, Casey. Her email is cmunck@cendyn.com. Thank you all for joining Personalization 2.0, Decoding the Guestprint.
Thanks, guys.